All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode from Investing with the Difference. So, we are live now and going to take your question and answers. So, today we are going to start with our main focus will be on EOS, but we will start with the markets, how they're doing. But before we do that, let's look at our channel page. So, one update on this is that we have added a Telegram channel, which is we have just started, and this is more for EOS community focused because, as you know, we are spending a lot more time on EOS these days, and we wanted to give an opportunity for the community to come together, open up a dialogue, and have a discussion. And we will be moderating it and making sure that we are doing some meaningful discussions and enhancing uh, the knowledge of EOS community, as well as taking a bigger role in how we influence EOS. So do join us if you're interested. If you have questions, I think our goal is to have some serious investors as well as EOS community members joining us and helping each other. So from the last time, I think we looked at the Bitcoin chart. And if you remember, we were waiting for this breakout, and it really was a great breakout, and we saw huge volumes coming in. Remember, these volumes are still pretty low as compared to what we saw in April timeframe when this move happened, or maybe earlier in February. So I'm still a little bit kind of careful here before I say that we are going to make new highs. But overall, again, I did not update these levels, so let's just delete this. This is not right now updated. So if I look at the levels now, I think 7,800 is the resistance, which I'm hoping we hit before we go for a correction. So I think right now, of course, with this breakout, we are looking at a nice up move. We already made a huge move of more than $1,000. And I think this is going to get better if we can consolidate here before we move in either direction, because we do need a lot more buying in this zone. And while we're talking about market, and there's a lot of rumors around the ETF, which is like kind of proposed right now. And I think it is very much possible that we will have the ETF approved by early August. And it's almost seems like it's moving very fast. And not just ETF, I think that is mostly focused on institutional investors, because the ETF is not going to be publicly available. It's mostly for accredited investors who are identified as people who earn more than $300,000 or their net worth is more than $1 million. So I wanted to show you this Grayscale Digital Asset Investment Report. So Grayscale, as you know, they're the creators of GBTC, which was the first instrument listed on stock exchanges. It's a trust. It's very similar to ETF, but it's a trust fund, and they charge a huge fee. And I think it's not the best way to buy Bitcoin, but they still managed to get a lot of investment coming in. And they reported how the interest is growing, even though the market is not doing very well. They have got almost $248 million into their investment products, and 56% of this they are claiming is coming from institutional investors, which is huge. I think we need to understand that it looks like institutional interest is not something which is lining up. It is already moving in the direction that a lot of money is already flowing in to these funds. And once this ETF and some other instruments which are being proposed, those are approved, we should see more and more money coming in. So in general, I think from a long-term perspective, it is not uh, like very expensive price based on the all-time high, as we know, for Bitcoin, that is $20,000. I think, but there may be some correction here before it really goes and tests the next resistance level. So I would say, if you missed out on buying here when we were always talking about, we would still say that you wait for maybe a little bit of, because it was a very fast move, so it should come down a little bit before we worry about going up. So these are I think, some of the things in the market. Overall, I think coin market cap, almost all coins are up. So let's have a quick look. I think almost every altcoin is also going up, but I think some of them are doing better. And I think there is some correction already happening in alts. And as we have been always discussing, Ethereum is struggling a little bit. If you see, it has not really caught up in the same percentage level, and it's even correcting faster now, even after going up less than rest of the coins. And we always are concerned about Ethereum in terms of scaling. And within the EOS community, I think we are already aware of the limitations of Ethereum and why they are not able to match up to the next generation of blockchain platform. So we are still concerned about it. So I think underperformance is very visible for Ethereum, while I think there's a more and more focus coming in from institutional investment into Bitcoin. So let me go and see. Uh, Again, I will go back to this Grayscale report. So this is a lot of data they have shared, but one thing which I would like to highlight, in the investment products they are offering quite a few altcoins, and 63% of the money raised is in Bitcoin. So this is where we believe Bitcoin is still going to see a lot of inflows, and because most of the institutional funds are going to first look at something which has been stable for a very long time. There's no question about the validity of that blockchain, and it is still the biggest brand in crypto world. So I would say Bitcoin is a safe investment from this perspective, that even when the institutional flow comes, they will be looking at Bitcoin as the biggest investment, while spreading their bets in the rest of the altcoins. So this is the one example I wanted to show, that this is going to impact the Bitcoin price more. And as you can see in this rally, Bitcoin is doing much better than many other top altcoins. And definitely, I think over time, you will see that this is not going to be any different from what happened in the last bull run, when Bitcoin really ran away initially and then altcoins followed. Now, coming back to EOS. So one thing is, of course, I think overall EOS network is doing well. So let me just quickly load EOS network monitor, and pretty happy with how I think things are moving. We have been sharing on our Facebook and on our various other channels. People are already noticing the performance of the network. So if you have not seen it already, let us give it some time to load. But I think we have hit 2,351 transactions per second, which is very great, good performance in terms of the scalability which we can provide with EOS. And that is something I think is way ahead of what is the case for Ethereum. So I think, let me see if it can load quickly while I'm waiting. There is some problem here, so let me just wait for it. I think while my video streaming is going on, EOS network is pretty heavy site because it loads a lot of information from the EOS blockchain. And I think my PC is not able to handle right now both streaming as well as EOS network. So I don't have any preloaded beside you. So usually I preload EOS network before I start the live streaming. So this time I didn't do it. So let's close this, but I think you can go to EOS network, you got the point. And basically, we are doing pretty well in terms of the performance and the throughput of the network, which is great. So now, one thing I would like to highlight is we are continuously building our proxy. So voting is still very, very important. So even though everything is going fine, as you know, that there are a couple of block producers which we are always concerned about. Let's open maybe some other site which can be faster, like EOS Spark, and see if that comes up faster. And we are going to look at what are the top block producers. So even now we have only 31% votes in, which is not a bad number, but it is not great. You're looking at something which can be like right now, out of 31%, only the topmost block producer is getting only 2.756. What if we increase this by the not by whales, but if we increase the voting by 3% by actual community members, there is a good chance you can bring some of the good block producers on the top and remove the bad elements. So I think that is what is important. You need to understand that the actual weightage or the score for each block producer is still very low because all these votes, 30%, is divided across a lot of block producers. And what you need to understand is some of them we have no idea about. Like, for example, no, we have been debating this on many Telegram channels. EOS Cleaner is something which nobody has any contact. They only have 698 votes. And if you look at, our, I think, friends at EOS Titan, so EOS Titan is a block producer which has done this pretty nice tool to visualize who is getting what votes. And this is pretty nice. I think you can select some of the big whales who can be seen here. You can actually highlight which block producer is getting vote from which accounts. The last one is usually the small votes that accumulates over time. If you see EOS Cleaner has the smallest portion of small votes. And this may have happened because they have been in top 21 recently, and some people maybe they don't even understand how to vote, and they just select the top block producers because that is another concern we have that most of the tools they have the top block producers showing up as the first page for voting, and some people don't even know that there are a lot more block producers out there. But anyway, the point is that EOS Cleaner is mostly supported by whales. There is no information, they never showed up in any BP call. They have no communication channel with the community. They have just announced their membership or a registration, and they are reaping rewards right now. So this is something which is concerning. In previous videos, we have highlighted the concern we had about ZB. ZB is an exchange. Again, they are getting a lot of votes from big whale accounts, and especially this account, this black color you see here. This account only votes for two block producers, Huobi and ZB, and both of these are exchanges, and there is no clarity if this one account belongs to an exchange or whether it belongs to a whale which is supporting these exchanges. So either way, I think if you are an influencer, if you're a big enough voter, voting for only two block producers is not good. Even if you are not meaning any harm, you need to vote for at least 15 for the health of this network. So let me say, even if, let's say, I'm not calling out GB and Huobi as bad elements because they're trying their best, I believe, to build this community, as I'm hearing from somebody. Of course, I don't have any great information about them, but let's assume they are good. And let's assume this particular account really cares for the network. Then why not choose some other good block producers in addition to these two? So this is where I think is a problem in this whole thesis of good whales versus bad whales. Of course, there are some good whales. So if you look at this account, this is a pretty huge account. This is almost, I believe, 8 million EOS, and they are voting for very good block producers. And if you look at these, but not all whales are bad because maybe they are some hedge fund or somebody who are looking after EOS while they are invested in it. If you remember in early days when we were tracking the Ethereum blockchain and who owns EOS, in some of our early videos, we had shown some big funds who were owning EOS. And these are the accounts which have been voting for some good block producers. So I am personally not against whales. I'm not personally against. I'm like some people talk about one person, one vote. Remember, the people who are bad elements, they will find the ways to circumvent the system. You can create hundreds of thousands of accounts, and even you can go around this one person, one vote system. So being like whale voting is not bad, but the bad elements getting voted in to the system because of whales, that is bad, and that is what I think we need to focus on. So, and how do you change that? Remember, no whale can be big enough as a joint community voting. If you look at it, even now with only 30% involvement, and out of those 30%, most of them are whales, we still have this biggest bar, which is the small votes. So these small votes are making up for almost all the top 21 block producers. You can see they are making up the most impact because of the size of the vote they are able to garner. So this is, if you look at EOS New York, they deserve it because, as everybody knows, how much work they have done for it. EOS Canada has been very active and has been very vocal about all the issues. EOS 42, I think they became very popular after they started the EOS 911. So there are a lot of good things these block producers have done, and they have come to the top even after the whale activity with the, for example, Start EOS is heavily supported by whales, but now they are getting a lot of small votes as well. So many of these block producers who have come to the top, they have come based on community voting. And this is something which can be achieved for all 21 once we have more and more people voting. And again, as I said, if you don't know whom to vote for, please use these proxies. So we have our proxy as Investing with a Difference, Investing WAD. So we are working with one of the block producers to add more details. So right now, so you see that some of them have their details added, like name. So we are working on it now to improve the information about our proxy. And when you click on it, right now you don't see any link other than the votings what we are doing. But yeah, very soon, I would like to call out EOS Mediterranean, who are helping us to add this information, and you will be able to see more information about our proxy here. So this is great. I think EOS Aloha is provided these details, and even if we go back to EOS Titan, which is we are now showing up as one of the big proxy accounts. So this is the strength of our community. I think we are the biggest in terms of number of accounts. We are 155. So almost 155 accounts are voting with us. And if you look at all other accounts, those are either one or two, and the maximum we can see is 39. And because they're huge, so they are again well supported. Oh, sorry, 31 here. So this 31 is again way less than 155, and that's the strength we can create as a in this community with Investing the Difference. We want you to join us, and we can actually match these big proxies who are either, like if you look at it here, Bitfinex accounts is only one account, which is 3 million, and all of these are 3 million EOS accounts. So these are the ones we need to get above to really make a difference, where we can say that we have a say here. And if you want to visualize it, we're using EOS Titan tool. So I will put a link for this. You can actually select none, and you can simply select our proxy, and you will be able to see which block producers we are voting for. And this kind of very nice tool, actually, which is giving you a very good visualization. And we really thank EOS Titan to do this. You can also add other accounts and see who is voting along with us. So if you see here, so Luke EOS proxy. So Luke is from EOS back, and a very good guy. I think I have interacted a little bit with him. We are doing some. So now what we're saying is they are voting for very similar block producers like us, and you can easily see with this graph because it adds up here into the same against the same block producer column. So it's a very nice tool. Please use it to analyze block producers and understand who is voting for whom. And you can also understand all these whales. So these are the regular accounts, which are huge accounts. You can pick any one account and you will see. So as I said, this is the account which I like because they're voting for some good block producers. Again, very similar to what we are voting for. And so we are not really unhappy about this whale account. While some other whale accounts, we are like, who are voting for only, who are not voting for these good block producers, but they're voting for most of the unknown accounts like Start EOS, EOS Huobi, which is an exchange, ZB. So these are the ones which we worry about, and we need to know more about their criteria. We would like all these people to come front and forward and say that what is their criteria, why they are voting for certain block producers, which are not even contributing. Like Start EOS, we have not seen anything in the community from them. EOS Huobi, I would love to know what they're doing for community. ZB, I'm very concerned because they are an exchange, and based on all the investigation we have done, we believe they are using the exchange wallet without assigning proxies, and they're using their account holders tokens to vote. So these kind of things we are really concerned about, and we would like to know. And Start EOS, one more thing happened. I think yesterday we noticed that they disappeared. They had some production issues, and this is something which is not kind of acceptable for a top block producer which is in top 4, and we need to have better communication from block producers when these kind of events happen. And because these guys are not available on any social channels, it's very difficult to track what issues they are facing. So these are the kind of things we need to look at. So now let's, while we have covered a lot of things, let's look at what are the questions going around on the channel. So the last question, so you can repeat the question if I missed some over the in the previous portion of the chat. Um, People are talking about, okay, what's the percent of EOS not voting? So as you can see, I think when you say 30% of is voted, that means 31%. So 311 million EOS are voting now, and as you know, 100 million are from block.one. So that is 411. So now you're talking about around 600 million EOS, which is double of what is voting. And there are, for every one voter, there are two who are not voting. And when I say voters, I mean tokens. So if you have 10 tokens voting, then you have 20 EOS tokens which are not voting right now. So definitely, if more participation comes in, it can make a huge difference, because right now only, I think, 1/3 of the eligible votes are currently voting. All right, so there's a question about, I hope this isn't another bull trap. Are you confident it isn't? So bull trap, okay, let's look at what is happening here. Um, so I see that this is a head and shoulder pattern which we formed, and we broke out of this. So this is actually quite a good result for a bull, even if it is not going to be like sustained, and if we start correcting, I would say this is not called a bull trap when you make such a good gain and when you clear out these big resistances. So guys, I think I have an emergency here. I will have to close this video today. Maybe we will do another live stream tomorrow. So thanks all for joining, and we will talk about more about EOS and the market in the next stream. And for now, I will say bye. Again, I have to cut short because of another situation here, which I cannot avoid, and I need to attend to it. Thank you. Bye-bye.